taking ownership of your life is what we talk about on these calls, right? Taking full ownership of your life requires you to think a little bit differently. If you're ever in an emotional place, action will trump the inaction. Just moving your body. We listened to Tony Robbins maybe 2 weeks ago. He said, motion creates emotion. If you are in some type of emotional state that you don't want to be in, whether it's worry, anxiousness, right? Depression, whatever it is, any emotional state that you don't want to be in, start taking action, start moving your body. It's called your physiology, right? Start breathing differently, start moving your body differently, and it'll create a different emotion in you. It's something Jocko just talked about is the action. We got to take action. Other part, right, of prioritize and execute. Very cut and dry. A lot of these military guys, very cut and dry because a lot of times it's life and death for them, right? Your life is on the line. The problems we deal with aren't the same problems that they deal with on the battlefield. But the problems you deal with can still be handled in similar ways. In similar ways. Prioritize and execute. His example of you might be dealing with 6 or 7 emotional things. This happens to me when I coach and talk to people. It's like, hey, what's going on? Normally it's this and this and this and this and this and this, right? It's a bunch of different things all together at one. But just like Jocko said, if you want a strategy for it, prioritize and then execute. Prioritize. Okay, what is the most important thing right now to me? What is the number one challenge? What is the biggest problem? Or like he said, the other side, what are a couple of the small things I can just get off my plate really quickly so I'm not so overwhelmed? But at the end of the day, you have to prioritize and then execute on those things. You have to prioritize what's important right now in my life. What's important for me to get out of this emotional state? What's important for me to be able to have a better quality of life? And then how do I go about it? I need to execute on it. Understanding those things, very cut and dry, very black and white, very much so not having to pull in all of the emotion, but actually just having some logic behind it is going to help you start to really tailor your life and get to the life that you want. In the book 177 Mental Toughness Secrets, it says champions don't let feelings get in their way. Not that we don't have feelings and not that you don't have emotions. It's just you don't let it get in your way from executing, from getting to the place you want to go, getting to the life that you're designing, doing the things in your health, doing the things in your financial life. You're not letting your feelings, your emotions get in the way of that progress. It's something we have to train ourselves to do, because oftentimes we are slaves to our emotions. I think it says it in here, right? We become slaves to our emotions. We have people around us that allow us to be in that emotional state and maybe rub our back. And so we get some significance from it or some certainty from it because we can stay in this emotional home. But if it is impeding on your progress, if your feelings are getting in the way from you doing the work you know you need to do to get to the life you want, then you got to get the feelings out of the way. You got to get the feelings out of the way. Here's what it says in the text. It says, people operating at the poverty, working, and middle class levels of awareness are always getting ready to get started towards their goals. The poverty class is going to find work soon. The working class is getting ready to move up from night shift to day shift. The middle class is going to start working on that graduate degree one of these days. All have good intentions, yet they rarely move beyond their intentions. They're always waiting and wondering when the time will be better for them to begin. They are waiting for their emotions to motivate them to action, and as a result, they become slaves to their feelings. Say that again. They are waiting for their emotions to motivate them to action, and as a result, they become slave to their feelings. Champions are masters of their emotions and they know what waiting to feel like taking waiting to feel like taking action is a losing proposition. They believe there's never a better time to get started than today, and that tomorrow is merely a promissory note, that any day could end up being their last. The great ones operate with a keen sense of urgency, dreaming of the future while firmly rooted in the present. Average people are smart enough and gifted enough to make their dreams come true, yet tend to wait so long to attempt anything substantial that by the time they have failed enough to have learned the lessons they need to succeed, their life is over. Professional performers have a heightened sense of life's timeline, and their actions reflect. While the masses are waiting for the mood to strike them to act, the great ones start acting regardless of whether they feel like it or not. This small distinction in their thought process makes the difference between living their dreams and dying with their music still inside of them. We got to make sure we are getting our feelings out of the way and that we are putting action in place. Don't be like the world. Don't be like the middle class, average thinkers, right? Again, nothing wrong with them. But if that's not our life, if that's not the life we are going after, then we can't take that set of habits. We can't take that thought process with us. It'll allow us to be right there. So what people around typically do is, like it says there, they wait for their emotions to motivate them to action. They wait till they feel what they need to feel in order to go to the gym. They have to feel what they need to feel in order for them to actually make the phone calls in their business to make money. They have to feel something in order for them to pursue that relationship or pursue something in their business life. Like they have to feel it. It's the opposite of being a champion. It's opposite of being world class. Is you have to take the action. The feelings will catch up. Sometimes you may never feel like it, but if you only did things that you feel like doing, your life is going to be incredibly hard. Your life is going to get increasingly more difficult if you only want to do the things that you feel like doing. If you only do the things that you feel like doing, you'll never get to the life that you want. And so we got to get the feelings out of the way. And we got to start to operate, like it says here, with that sense of urgency, just taking action. Yes, we have obstacles. Yes, like Jocko said, we have emotional issues. Like there's things that we're dealing with. We've been hurt. We've been betrayed. We have, right, trust things. There's traumas. There's all types of stuff that we're dealing with on an emotional level. And we still got to get to the life that we want, right? It's an and we still have to provide for a family, or we still have to, right, be the people that have the capacity to handle what's up ahead in their family's life, right? Like we still have to do it. So get that sense of urgency back. I challenge you all, get that sense of urgency back, that like we can't wait for next week. You can't wait for next year. You can't wait for 3 weeks, 5 weeks from now to start doing something that you know you need to do, right? You got to do it now. You got to have the sense of urgency that tomorrow's not promised. And so you can choose to get into the gym today, or you can choose to wait and get lazier mentally before you go into the mental gym. I would just go today. I would just do the hard things today. I would just make it a habit of pushing yourself to get your feelings out of the way. Just get your feelings out of the way. What do you want? What do you want to make happen? What is the life that you're going after? Make that clear. 100% clarity around what you actually want. Then Jocko said it, right? We prioritize and we execute. That's it. You prioritize, okay, what's important for me to get done? If that's the clarity of the life that I want, of what I want to experience in my financial life, in my spiritual life, in my relationships, in my business, in my health, with my family, like this is what I want to experience, then we have to prioritize and execute. What is helping me get towards that goal? What around me is taking me away from that goal, that life? If there's something I want to be in my health life, is something I want to see in my health life, are the things that I'm doing, the things that I'm prioritizing, is it taking me towards that or away from that? If I have a vision for what I want to do in my business, are the actions, the things I prioritize today, are they taking me towards that or away from that? And so it's you just evaluating over time what you're prioritizing. What are you prioritizing? I used to say this to people and they used to get offended. but I still believe it's true to some degree. There might be some random, right? Some random occurrences out there, but I would always say, right, if you have time and don't have, right, normally if you have time, you don't have money because you're working for it a bunch, right? If you have money, normally you don't have time, right? But if you don't have either, if you don't have time or money, your priorities are off, right? If you have a bunch of time, probably don't have a lot of money, so you can use your time to go get more money. If you put it in the right places, you prioritize it, put it in the right places, you'll go be able to make money if that becomes a priority and you execute. If you have a bunch of money and you don't have time, right? Probably because you're working a bunch, you got a bunch of stuff happening, but then you can use your money strategically to get back some time. If you don't have time or money, if you're like, I'm always so busy and financially I'm struggling, that means our priorities are off. That means we're spending time and money in places that are not the priority. So we have to shift our priorities. We have to move things up and down the priority list. Then we have to execute on those priorities. And so we have to learn how to prioritize and execute in all the areas. And so do that in your business life, your faith life, your health life, all the stuff. Do it in your financial life, but also do it with your emotions. Do it with whatever the emotional issues, the challenges are that you have. Let's prioritize. Hey, what are the things that I really need to pay attention to right now? It was maybe a little bit of a harsh example, but if your sick cat is sick and it's causing you extra stress, prolonged stress, but you know the end result is like that cat's gonna pass away, like then you have to prioritize certain things. You have to make it a priority to say, I'm going to relieve this part of what's stressing me out that's allowing me to not do work or fall into this depression or want to be a homebody or whatever it is. Like some of those things we have to cut off and we have to change in order for us to get a different result. Prioritize and execute. Take action. These are the things that will help you get out of your feelings. If you're run by your emotions, right? It even says it scripturally, right? The heart is deceiving, right? It's deceiving. We can't trust our feelings. We can't trust our flesh all the time. Like that's not what we trust in. And so if we want to get to a different life, if we want to experience different things, we got to put the feelings to the side and we got to start taking action. Prioritize, execute, start taking action. Don't let it be like it says in here where you're waiting for the mood to strike you in order to act. You're waiting for you to feel good. You're waiting for all the pieces to line up. You're waiting for this and that and this to all happen before you go move forward. You're waiting to get all this stuff cleared up, which will never actually get cleared up before you go after your dreams. You're waiting till all the kids are grown and out of the house. You're waiting until all of these perfect situations come in your life before you take action, really just because you're a little scared. You got a little fear. You're a little nervous. You feel a little insecure, right? These are feelings. And you got to get that out of the way so that you can head in the direction that you guys want to go. I read this quote from Bill Gove. I think I just read it on Monday or Friday, but it's easier to act your way into good thinking than to think your way into good action. It's easier to act your way into good thinking than to think your way into good action. This is not a thinking thing. It's an action thing when you are stuck in an emotional place and you want to get out. Can't let your feelings get in the way. Here's the action step for today, ladies and gentlemen. It says, decide to develop the habit of not letting your feelings get in your way. Make a commitment to get started today and continue the commitment for the next 30 days, regardless of whether you feel like it or not. Remember, habits start out as cobwebs and turn into cables. Regardless of whether you feel like it or not, if there's any sentence to leave you with today, it's that. Whether you feel like it or not, do it. If you know it's right, if you know it's getting you towards the life you want, if you know it's progressing you towards your goal, this is making you better. This is making your family better. This is making your financial life better, your health better. If you know it's going to make you better, but it's something you don't feel like doing, do it anyway. Get in the habit of doing it anyway, and your life will change. Your life will change, y'all. I love you guys. You deserve to win. Your families deserve to win. I believe in you. That's right, Rob. I believe in you guys. I know you can make it happen, whatever it is. I've talked to a lot of you individually. Some of you I haven't talked to individually, but I know you have things you want to make happen. You have goals, you have dreams, you have desires, you have things that you're headed towards. And sometimes we just need that little reshift, that little focus, right? That little millimeter perspective shift to get us to the life that we want. And so I believe all of you guys can do it. Feel free to reach out if you need anything. Otherwise, we'll be back here on Friday for November 1st. Get the month started off right with these morning mindset calls. All right, y'all. Take care. Have a great day.